Alright gamers, today we're going to be looking at Young's modulus testing and why I'm trash at it. But before we look into why I'm trash in every single possible aspect for this experiment, right now we're going to look at an overview of what this experiment was supposed to do. It initially was meant to test Young's modulus, which is a modulus that is very prominent in the engineering world due to its ability to calculate the stiffness of a material, to put it in layman's terms. And essentially it's used to determine what materials are used for which tasks. This is extremely important because without it, you might have idiots trying to use styrofoam as skyscraper support beams or some crap like that. That would be stupid. So, right now, we're going to explain what Young's modulus is and how it's calculated real quick. So as you can see at the bottom, E is equivalent to stress over strain, E being the modulus itself, and stress over strain can be essentially put into two different equations, with stress being equivalent to the force you're applying over the cross-sectional area of the material itself, and strain being the change in length over the original length. So you put those two equations over each other and boom, you get a number. It is Young's modulus. So, what materials do you need to test Young's modulus? Now, majority of these are pretty standard. It's easy to get these, you can just order this crap off of Amazon, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. So firstly, a 7-strand nylon cord. Now, you can essentially just get whatever you want for this. So the 7-strand nylon cord was what I used as a material to measure. And I put 60 inches as a minimum. If you want to get more, you can. If you want to run more trials and such, 60 inches is approximately, almost what I worked with. Now you got a pair of scissors. The pair of scissors is specifically for the nylon cord, so you can actually cut it when you need to, because you're not going to be using all 60 inches in a single trial. Next up, we have a measuring tape, or Logger Pro. Logger Pro is a very nice software that I was unfortunately unable to install on my laptop, which it would have been very nice to have. But I had a measuring tape, so I made do. This is going to be what's used to measure the original length of the cord as well as the change in length of the cord. We have a camera in order to document the experiment itself to prove that I actually did it and I'm not just making crap up. Please, I promise I'm not making crap up, please believe me. And we have a mass weight set. This is so we can apply a known force to the actual cord itself. It's very important that the force that you put your material under is a known force, so you can figure out, okay, this is how much force is being applied to it, I mean, theoretically, you could use whatever material you want, as long as you can put it, you can, weigh how many grams it is and such, how much matter it is comprised of. But I found it easier to just read the pretty numbers on the shiny metal object. And I promise I didn't eat after the experiment. So, this is the procedure of the experiment. This is the experiment itself. And it's fairly simple. You create a hook or something like that to hang a length of nylon cord from, and you affix the length to the hook that was previously created. You measure the initial length of the nylon cord, and then you attach your known weight to the end of the nylon cord. Personally, I did this by tying a knot in the nylon cord and I shouldn't say then putting the weight. What I should instead say was I tied a little knot at the end. Then I measured the initial length of the cord, and then I put the weight on. Now, after putting the known weight on, you're going to measure the change in length of the nylon cord by just measuring the new length and then doing a very simple subtraction procedure, if you will. The next one is just calculate Young's modulus for the cord, for that little strand, and then repeat as necessary. So, If you want to do 300,462 runs of this experiment for God knows what reason, you sick freak, you can. So this is just a few pictures of the experiment. You can see that personally what I chose is I chose my very, very messy garage for the scene of this experiment, wherein I just took a thing that the door uses on the garage and just hung the nylon cord from that. And you can see my very, very fancy, enticing, delicious almost mask set hanging from that. Again, I didn't eat it, I swear. So, you see, you'd think, you know, all is well so far. All is good. But then you look at the results. Now, you can see that I measured, or I shouldn't say measured, I documented the trial number, the material, the original length of the strand, the force applied, all of which was the same, the change in length of the material, the cross-section area of the cord, which was, again, uniform for all of it since it was the same type of cord from the same spool, if you will. You got the stress, which was the same because the force applied and the cross-section area was the same for all of them. The strain was different, just because change in length was, it varied among them. And then you have the modulus calculated for each one. Now, I want you to notice, so going from trial 1 to trial 2, the modulus increases by about 9 megapascals. And then, going from trial 2 to trial 3, it increases by over 40. So when I put that down, I knew something wasn't right. Oh boy. It was fun. So, how about we interpret these results really quickly? There was an issue measuring the change in length of the cords. Now, I should elaborate on that very quickly. So when I say there was an issue measuring the change in length of the cords, that's part true. The issue wasn't necessarily the act of measuring cords, but rather that the change in length was so small that it would be hard to measure. This is because if you go back to the results, you can see that the force applied was approximately 2.45 newtons, which isn't a lot, but like with a stretchy cord, you wouldn't have to worry about that. However, the cord that I got was not stretchy in the slightest. Meaning that the change in length was nigh impossible to measure on my end, and a majority of the change in length was more likely to be the knot just loosening up or something like that, causing the length of the whole thing to increase just a little bit. And so since they had such little changes in length, since the changes in length are so similar, you get varying moduluses for the same exact material. Now, I was unable, partially due to time constraints and partially due to not eating the weights I swear, I was unable to perform more trials of this with additional weight. And so, sadly, no conclusions can be drawn from this experiment. There was no point to it. Every once in a while, you come upon something like this, and it makes you just wither a little bit on the inside. You can feel your muscles weaken a bit, your heart slows down ever so slightly, because you just lost that little bit of will to live. And honestly, I can live with that. So at this point in time, that concludes our presentation. That's it. I did not eat the weights.